What if this is the best version?
What's up, boys and girls? This is Black and Young Movies, and a couple months ago we watched the trailer for the movie Lady Bird, and it released last week, and we both watched it.
We both watched it. Now, Lady Bird has got an extreme positive response in the film festivals. It's currently at a 94 Metacritic score.
100 on Rotten Tomatoes.
100 on Rotten Tomatoes, and we watched it and we thought it was good.
Very good.
But that score seems a little high for what we received.
Now, this movie stars Saoirse Ronan, who you might have seen from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, which I didn't see.
Not you, I guess other people might have seen it. She plays Christine McPherson, who calls herself Lady Bird.
Lady Bird.
It's a name, like she says, made up by her and given to herself.
Lady Bird, is that your given name?
Yeah.
Why is it in quotes?
I gave it to myself. It's given to me by me.
And that kind of shows the character that she is. She's very lively and she's very...
free-spirited.
Yeah. And the story is basically a teenage comedy. It's a teenage angst about, the problems and the troubles that you go through in high school.
Right, coming of age story, the battles with your parents, most particularly her mom in this film.
Does Mom hate me?
If you're tired, we can sit down.
I'm not tired.
You were dragging your feet.
You are so infuriating.
Please stop yelling.
I'm not yelling. Oh, it's perfect.
Do you love it?
And, just her peer group and things around her that go on. And
Finding a boyfriend, finding a date for prom.
So one of the things we really enjoyed about this film was the comedy. There's a great sense of humor to this film.
So, you're not interested in any Catholic colleges?
No way. I want schools like Yale, but not Yale because I probably couldn't get in.
You definitely couldn't get in.
There's a lot of funny lines, a lot of good one-liners, and also the thing you laugh about the most, I think, is a lot of the uncomfortableness and the realistic situations that they're placed into. I mean, you can laugh at it remembering how it was when you were a teenager, watching this scene unfold, and you're like, oh, I remember how it was to be in that situation. Or you can laugh at it if you're an adult and you're raising a teenager yourself, and you see, the dynamic she has between her and her mother, and a lot of the stuff and all the problems that they go through between, trying to be cool at school and trying to make friends and trying to get a boyfriend. A lot of these things are dealt with humorously, and it's a very funny movie throughout.
Yeah, well, your mom's tits, they're totally fake. She made one bad decision at 19. Two bad decisions.
Well, if you guys didn't know, it is Oscar season, and Saoirse Ronan does an incredible job in this film. I mean, the whole movie is about her character, and she carries the entire film. She makes everything believable. She makes every, interaction with every character just rich.
When is a normal time to have sex?
You're having sex?
I'm ready. Just wanted it to be special.
Why? You're gonna have so much unspecial sex in your life.
And it's crazy when you think that she's, born in Ireland, and she has a very strong, Irish accent.
Very strong.
And for the longest time, I thought she was American. It was like Mel Gibson. After a while, you're like, he's American, right? Like Russell Crowe's American because they can transform themselves so well into the role that they're doing. You want the leading star to immerse you. You want to follow them along and feel through their trials and tribulations. And I believe to a certain extent you do get that with Saoirse Ronan. Now, one of the big hangups we had about this movie was the pacing. I think the runtime's of hour 30, hour 40, hour 45 at the most, I believe. It deals with a lot of heavy themes when you think about American teenage lifestyles. The problem that we found with it was it needled on a little bit of these points, but it never grasped anything, something I could sink my teeth into the entire time.
Like we said, they talk about how it is to get a boyfriend, how it is to get make new friends, how it is to fit in, and dealing with your mother.
Right.
These are all things that they deal with, and there's all things that they bring up, but they don't, like you said, really dive deep into any which one.
Right, and then each one does get resolved, but I feel like the execution wasn't well enough for it to be resolved. I wanted more in the fabric. I wanted to draw it out a little more in certain instances, especially with the relationship with her mom.
Not to add to Jamil's point, she does, like you say, just dabble on these little things, and she doesn't actually dive into anyone.
Right.
The problem with that is at the end of the film, nothing really sticks with you. Nothing really resonates with you. I mean, we like Saoirse in this role, and we like the character.
Yeah.
But if you compare it to other films like this, other teenage angst films like Spectacular Now, Perks of Being a Wallflower, Fault in Our Stars.
Right.
Each of these films, as I list them, you can think of a specific thing that you like the most out of them. Spectacular Now, you love
The relationship.
the relationship
Oh
between
my
those
God.
two.
Beautiful.
That's the thing, that's the driving force that carries the entire
Right,
movie.
along with the characters.
Along with the characters. When you have Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Right.
You have all the relationships and the friendship.
Yeah.
It's all about the friendship.
He's so awkward, and,
Yes.
he builds the friendship with these two seasoned people in this high school he's new to.
Exactly.
And that pushes the film forward.
So with Lady Bird, if we came out of the movie, there's nothing, like we said, there's nothing that resonates
Right.
with it. If someone were to ask me to recommend a teenage coming-of-age story, a teenage angst
Right.
movie, I don't know if it would be Lady Bird.
It wouldn't be Lady Bird. If they said recommend a good independent flick from this year, I might mention this one, but I'd be like, it's not the first one to see.
Now for my final review, I give this a 7 out of 10. I thought that there was a lot of great moments, a lot of funny moments. But besides that, Saoirse does a great job. I think she might get a nomination. I don't know if she'll win a nomination for Best Actress, but it's like going to a buffet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff, and you can dabble in
You
everything.
can try it. You can try some of the
You
tomato.
might come back for this.
Yeah.
I might not.
But none of it is that good. And I feel like that's just a problem with the pacing. It's a problem with, I thought it was good, but definitely not the 100 on Rotten Tomatoes and the 94 on Metacritic.
That's crazy. I'm gonna go with the slightly higher score. I'm gonna get it a 7.5. I have a soft spot for independent films, and I do really enjoy coming of age films if they're done correctly. I do think that this one was done correctly. There isn't much that I disliked about the film other than what we talked about, kind of the pacing and kind of needling at certain points but not really exploding them and stretching them out a little further. But other than that, comedy was pitch perfect in certain areas. You know, Saoirse Ronan, phenomenal in the movie. In the supporting cast, her mom, I wouldn't be surprised if she got a supporting actress nod as well. The film has enough merits to, credit a watch, but not enough to set it apart from a lot of other films in the same category.
Well, that was our review for Lady Bird. If you've seen it, please comment below. Tell us what you liked about it or didn't like about it. If you guys have time, please click subscribe.
Yeah.
Give us a thumbs up on this video. And we'll be back next week for another movie review.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
What I'd really like is to be on Math Olympiad.
But math isn't something you're terribly strong in.
That we know of yet.
I understand it's Greta Gerwig's second film that she's directed.
First one was 20th Century Woman.
It wasn't.
No, wait, what was it? Sorry.
I forget what it was.
Shit, never
But
mind.
it's
Take it back. All right, do Greta Gerwig's.
It's such a woman. That was the other guy.
Oh, the other
That was the guy
guy.
that did Beginners, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
He's like, I don't remember. I didn't like it that much.